Hola, hola, todos. This is your boy Tico, Tren, and I'm gonna talk about the "I Have a Boyfriend" girls today on this lovely show. Um, these women tend to usually there's four types of these women, but I'm gonna talk about the main three of these women. The majority of these women who claim they have a boyfriend for the most part. The majority of these women who claim they have a boyfriend. And as I was saying, there's four types of these, but only a couple of them actually have only only one of them actually have a boyfriend. We're gonna leave that one out. That's a small chunk of them that actually has a boyfriend. The neat thing about these I have a boyfriend girlfriend girls, is like I said, they fall in three categories. The one category is they're dating somebody who belongs to the streets. So yeah, there's that guy that basically is never going to commit, but they have a boyfriend, but they basically have somebody around that's just giving them dick. Basically, they're not really their boyfriend. They're not really committing to them. They'll never be their boyfriend, but they have this dream that they'll be their boyfriend for the most part. It'd be no different than this. Also, who falls into this category? Also, who falls into this category is men who actually are married, basically, and are like slinging dick outside the relationship falls into this category. So you got a mixture of boyfriends that'll never commit that are cheating on them. You got women dating husbands, women dating men that are married, basically. So you got those two types of relationship for the most part. Um, then you have your women who who have boyfriends for the most part. There's two types of those. There's your, you know, I have a boyfriend, and somehow, some way, while you're working with them, their boyfriend conveniently disappears, just vanishes like smoke. Basically, no explanation, no sign of a breakup, no nothing, just vanishes like smoke. Then you have your girls that I have a boyfriend, but they really don't have one, but they always acting like they have one, but they really don't have one. And it's that one's kind of funny too, because they'll like send themselves like gifts from their fake boyfriend and shit like that. And matter of fact, they have a service where you can actually do shit like that for women, where you can actually literally do shit like that. What's up, Seeker? So they have services where women can actually literally pay to have stuff sent to them and act like it's their boyfriend for the most part. There's men that actually have this service also as well too, but mainly it's women that have this service where they can actually pay to have a fake gift sent to them. It is what it is. It sucks, but you know the neat thing about these girls is I've actually explained three of them. There's three types of girls basically. There's the one that claim they have a boyfriend, but conveniently vanishes when while during the course of you working with them or knowing them. He just vanishes. Never met him. He was just a fake boyfriend. He was there. All of a sudden, like ninja, vanish. There's that boyfriend. There's that girl. Then you also have the one, like I was saying, the last one I was saying about the one where, like, she fakes like she has a boyfriend the whole entire time, and she sends herself gifts on top of that. So she's spending money on making herself look good. And then you have the girls who have boyfriends. You have the girls that have boyfriends that really aren't their boyfriends. They're just slinging them dick, and they're basically slinging the whole entire neighborhood dick, basically. So they belong. So the man that they call their boyfriend belong to the streets, as we like to say. And then you have the women who have boyfriends, who are boyfriends are married men, who they hope and dream will leave their wife for them for the most part. So those are the main groups of women who actually claim they have boyfriends for the most part. I mean, that's the main group. That's like 80% of women right there that claim they have boyfriends. That's basically 80% of the women. That's pretty much how it goes. So, like I said, there's other four groups that claim they have boyfriends. The The three groups that claim they have boyfriends. You actually have girls that actually have boyfriends, but that's a small percentage. That's like, but I'll say about give them 20% to be nice. That's typically how that works. Like I said, there's the ninja vanish boyfriend. If you're working with a girl, you'll notice that she'll never talk about the man again after she initially told you she had a boyfriend. Then you have the, I have a boyfriend and she's sending her own self flowers and gifts and shit like that. Then you have the, I have a boyfriend. Meanwhile, she's dating somebody else's man, basically. Or I have a boyfriend and her man is basically dating the whole entire neighborhood. Okay, moving right along. Basically, I had to explain that so I can, get everybody up to speed who actually missed it. Typically, the women that you'll run into nowadays, they'll fall into the last they'll fall into the last three categories, basically. And the sad part about the last three is I may have said four, but the sad part about that, that last one where you're dating a man that's giving it up to the streets basically falls in the same one where you're dating a married man. It's the same fucking thing. It is the same fucking thing. That's pretty much what it is. It's the same fucking thing. You're dating a married man, or you're dating a man that's slinging a dick to the streets. So your man belongs to the streets. Come on now, woman. So like that's pretty much self-explanatory right there. Those two are pretty those two. That third branch right there is pretty much self-explanatory, and you pretty much already know women that are pretty much who are dating somebody who is dating other women, basically, or dating somebody or married and dating other women. They're basically the same damn thing. They're not committed. They're not, in other words, they're not 100% committed to that girl for the most part. It is what it is. Then on top of that, we're going to get to the main crux of this, the two women, the two types of women that you actually run into in this day and age, mainly. There's the ninja vanish boyfriend. She never talks about that man ever again. After she initially brings him up in a conversation of while she's trying to get to know you, he vanishes over the weeks, months in time that she gets to know you. Convenient how he just vanishes. Never tells you a thing. That's some Scooby-Doo mystery type shit basically going on there. And then you have the boyfriend. You have the woman who has a fake boyfriend who she's sending herself shit for the most part. So those are the two we're going to get into. Mainly the first one, because the second one basically you can pretty much tell. But basically the reason why you have the I have a boyfriend girls in this day and age is because it's nothing more than a ploy to actually try to make them seem more valuable than what they really are for the most part. That's all it really is. There's no other way to cut it. They basically want to make themselves seem more valuable to you than what they really are. Yeah, I call them the ninja vanish boyfriend. These are the girls who tell you when you first meet them, when you first start working with them, when you first get to know them, that they have a boyfriend, but he never comes up again conveniently. He never comes up again ever. Basically, that's why I call him the ninja vanish boyfriend. he pretty much like goes up in smoke for the most part. That's basically what I call it, smoke. But yeah, it's typically shit like that. And technically, the other boyfriend who sends her gifts is the ninja appear boyfriend because he pretty much appears in a form of like flowers, chocolate, gifts, shit like that for the most part. That's how he basically appears. He's pretty much the ninja appear boyfriend. Conveniently she got a teddy bear out of nowhere, or conveniently she got the edible fruits, edible arrangements out of nowhere. That's pretty much that boyfriend. But you never really get to see that boyfriend. But she has a boyfriend. But moving right along with that. Like I said, you'll deal with women mainly they'll deal mainly with these latter few women basically for the most part. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of women who actually aren't attached to somebody, who claim they're attached to somebody when they're really not. There are more women that are not attached to somebody than there are women that's actually attached to somebody. Even the women who actually claim they have a boyfriend and they're dating a married man, or they're dating a man who's dating the whole entire neighborhood, basically. Those ones are very. That's a very minimum group of women, basically. Two. Majority of the women basically fall into these two categories, basically. Either they have the ninja vanish or the ninja reappear boyfriend, basically. And what I mean by that is these women will talk about these women. The one group of women will actually tell you at the beginning when they first meet you that they have a girlfriend. I mean, they have a boyfriend for the most part. And this is basically them trying to actually make themselves seem more valuable than what they really are, when in fact they're really not all that valuable. They're basically trying to inflate themselves to make them seem like they're all this in a bag of chips and you will want to be with this girl for the most part. But the neat thing about this is as your relationship progresses, you realize that she's interested in you, and that was nothing more to make her make you more competent, put you in competition with a man that doesn't even exist, basically, for the most part. And that's typically what these two boyfriends are for the most part. She's basically putting you in competition with a man that doesn't even fucking exist. Would you say never stop using these terms? These are hilarious terms. Thanks, Seeker. But yeah, that's pretty much how that works. You're pretty much their plan and their focus for that moment, basically, depending on how that relationship progresses for the most part. Um, but yeah, it's typically one of those things. Um, where you'll continue to talk to the girl and you'll work with the girl and she'll start making choosy signals at you and she'll start flirting with you and all this other great shit for the most part to make you interested in her for the most part, even though she has a boyfriend conveniently. The first group is what I call the Ninja Vanish boyfriend, where she'll talk to you and she'll never even bring him up again. The fact that she had a boyfriend never comes up ever in conversation as she's hitting on you. And the sad part about that is you're thinking that you just stole her from her man, basically, but her man never came up again. Ever. No ring, no name, not even a name hardly anymore. She doesn't talk about him, don't got no pictures on her desk, don't even get no convenient, no, doesn't ever have to talk to him, never in a rush to go pick up the phone, shit like that, basically. That's pretty much that relationship for the most part. So she's talking to you, and the man never materializes. She never tells you what happened to the man. It's damn near like a soap opera, basically. He just mysteriously vanished or he mysteriously went away. No explanation. No questions asked. some crazy soap opera story, basically. That's typically the one group of men, the ninja vanish man, basically. And the ninja reappear man, basically is the man who, only appears in a form of gifts at her job, basically. That's all he is. That's all he would ever be. He just appears as a form of gifts at her job to make her seem like she's special. Like that'll be like edible arrangements. That'll be your other extra shit like chocolates, our first month anniversary or ninth month anniversary. We've been together for a year, despite the fact that they're not married. They're having a 1 year anniversary. They're having a 9-month anniversary. They're just dating, basically. And she's basically making us look good for the most part. And women would actually do this shit to make themselves seem much cooler than what they really are for the most part. And the sad part about that, there are a lot of married women who literally do this for themselves at work also. But that's neither here nor there. But these ones are typically the women that claim they have boyfriends and they buy their own damn gifts for them. And it just shows up like a teddy bear or chocolates, edible arrangements, you name it, basically. Flowers, shit like that all shows up. And the sad part about that is as the longer you work at this place or the longer you engage this person or talk to this person, the more you actually realize that they actually have feelings for you, and you're competing with a ghost for the most part. So basically, for both boyfriends, you're basically competing with a ghost for the most part, which is sad. So it's one of them things where like you're literally competing with a ghost. The sad part about that is a lot of men fall for this trick when it comes to women. A lot of men fall for this trick, and they're literally trying to like keep up with the Joneses or shit like that when it comes to actually they're trying to outcompete this man. They're trying to buy her gifts too and shit like that for the most part. So like it's one of them things where like, why are you even competing with this imaginary boyfriend, and why are you even dating this woman who has a boyfriend? And that's typically always had, if she has a boyfriend, that lets me know off the bat that she's a fucking liar. Off the bat, if she has a boyfriend and she's still trying to make passes at you or still trying to talk to you, that right there off the bat is a fucking red flag, and she's a fucking liar. Why would you want to start a relationship with a liar in the first damn place? Think about that shit. If she could lie and say she has a boyfriend, why would you want to start a relationship with that type of person? Because who's to say that her imaginary boyfriend turned to she's actually going to go hook herself up to somebody else. So that right there lets me know that's a red flag, and she's a liar in the first damn place. Why would you want to date somebody that's a liar? On top of that, what a lot of people fail to realize is women would do this shit on a regular basis so they can inflate their ego or inflate their value, and when in fact they really have no value whatsoever. Because the sad part about a lot of these women who claim they have boyfriends who actually send themselves gifts, they're basically, pretending they have boyfriends from all the men that slide in their DMs. That's what it is, basically. And the sad part about that, the women who have conveniently have vanishing boyfriends, they're basically trying to make themselves seem more valuable to you so you can actually want to pick them. And the sad part about this is it's nothing more than them actually relaying to you that they're lonely and desperate. To willing to go this far, they're lonely and desperate. It's sad, but it's so true. This is basically women actually admitting that they're lonely and desperate. Is all it really is. But they won't admit that out loud to you. But that's basically what it is. But you'll find out later as your relationship progresses with this woman that they're lonely and desperate. And it's shit like that. But if you ever run into one of these women, that woman alone is a bad woman for the most part. These women these are the women that I always talk about, that I was talking about in my one last stream, where there's 5 types of women. Basically look at women like your political leanings for the most part. There's your right-leaning women or your tradcons. There's your leftist women or your SJWs or feminists. There's your left center and right center. Then are your center women for the most part. These two groups of women right here, these two groups of women will fall into your left center. The women who date men who are in relationships and or is with a man who pretty much are just banging the whole entire neighborhood is your right center. None of these women fall in the center for the most part. That's the best way to preference it. So when you run into these women, you tend to have problems with them, and they're very, very good at lying. And these are the type of women on the basics that'll basically hide their phones or do other shit basically to make it sound like to make it seem like they're more valuable when actually they're just cheating on you for the most part. And they're talking to the men's in their DMs, or they're talking to their exes and shit like that for the most part. So women that have to actually pretend that they have boyfriends are damaged goods for the most part. So you might as well just slide them on out the pot for the most part. And that's typically how that works when you're dealing with women. That's pretty much women for you in a nutshell. And I was going to say there is actually another group of women that actually, now that I'm actually going on, I forgot about, but they technically fall into the other category with women who date married men, hoping that they'll leave their wives, and the women who are dating men who who are dating men who are dating the streets, everybody hitting everybody and anybody and their best friend, their mom, their cousin, their auntie, their everything basically for the most part. There's that one, but then there's also the women who are actually in a relationship who are actually hitting off, who are actually passing a cookie out to everybody under the sun for the most part, or some people basically, a select few. There's that group of women that are actually doing that too. So there are women actually in a relationship who actually are passing their cookie around to selective men while they're in a relationship for the most part. Let it be her coworker, let it be her work husband, let it be the pool boy, let it be the fucking gardener, you name it. Basically, it's basically some desperate housewife type shit. Their boyfriends, their boyfriend or their husband, significant other. I mean, not significant other. Their brother or cousin or uncle or dad. They're basically handing it out for the most part. There's that group of women too. But the sad part about that is that tends to be, including that group, I would say that's 90% of women for the most part that actually literally do all this shit from A to B, from left to right, basically, and nothing up the center. That's typically, all the women who do stupid shit while they're in they quote unquote claim, as I do air quotes, relationships. But those are the type of women that you need to watch for. And like I was saying about the Ninja Vanish girls, basically, you'll notice that, they're not even talking about that man. As the relationship progresses on, he just literally vanishes. You get no explanation. You get none of this shit for the most part. He just conveniently disappears on some Scooby-Doo mystery type shit. And you got the other one where like they send themselves gifts, but they claim they have a boyfriend. Their story for that one is usually, oh, we broke up. It wasn't really working out. I was just going through some stuff. I just didn't mention it until now because you just asked me and I'm interested in you and this, that, and the other. So I wanted to be honest and upfront with you. Meanwhile, they're not even being honest and upfront with you. They're basically lied to you the whole entire time to get you to like them, because to get you to view them in a favorable light, because they never had a boyfriend in the first damn place. They just basically wanted to use that for plausible deniability, just in case you turned them down or just in case you told them no, basically. So this is their fail-safe for just in case you turn them down for the most part. They have a boyfriend when they really don't have a boyfriend. It's their fail-safe. It's their defense mechanism so they can actually make themselves seem like they're strong and independent or strong and they don't need you just in case you turn them down, basically. And that's typically how all this stuff works. That's typically how all these men work for the most part. All these convenient men work in their lives, basically. And another group of men, also in the same token, there are women who actually have gay roommates that they'll claim is their boyfriend to make you jealous for the most part. Or they'll have a live-in roommate that's a simp that they'll call their boyfriend, but really isn't their boyfriend for the most part. I was basically talking about this in somebody's comment section when they were actually telling the story for the most part. But you got like women that have male roommates. They'll either have a gay male roommate, or they'll have a simp male roommate that's willing to pay for all her shit, or willing to do everything and thinking that he has a chance with her for the most part, to basically make you jealous of some man that they're not even sleeping with in the first damn place. So there's also that group of women also on top of that. But typically these are nothing more. Well, majority besides the one where they're dating a married man, or they're dating a man that they're conveniently with a man that they're cheating on, or forget those ones where they're with a man that they're cheating on themselves, or they're with a married man who the married man is cheating on them. I mean, we're going back between his wife and them. Then you also have the ones where she's cheating on her boyfriend, not cheating on her boyfriend. I already said that one. Where basically, they have a male roommate or a gay male roommate. He's either gay or straight, basically, and they about to try to actually pass him off as their boyfriend for the most part. It's nothing more to make them seem like they're of more value than what they really are. Yeah, gay friends are a red flag, but there are women that literally have gay friends, but they're like their roommate or something like that, which is actually really, really funny, because women are more likely to hang with gay men than anything for the most part, which is sad. But the sad part about that, you actually got to pay attention to that gay man, because sometimes he's really not a gay man. But that's for another live stream for the most part. Um, I'm basically talking about the women who actually literally have gay friends who actually live with, because there's a lot of those, sadly. But yeah, typically, like I was saying in the beginning, all this stuff that they're telling you is to basically, no matter what it is, all of it, no, pretty much all of it, even though, even the ones that are dating a married man, all this is basically something to actually make them seem more valuable than what they really are, to inflate their ego, to make them seem like they're more special, or they're this, that, and the other for the most part, to basically make them seem like they're a trophy or a prize, when in fact they're not. If you're dating a married man, you're probably not a prize. You're definitely not a prize, most definitely, I should say. Because if you have to date a married man, what that lets me know is you have you basically have psychological issues, basically, that you need to work out for the most part. Um, you have entitlement issues. You have psychological issues that you need to work out for the most part. That's typically what that is. Then on top of that, if you're dating a if you're dating a if you're dating a man that's doing you wrong, you most definitely have psychological issues that you need to sort out. It's sad, but it's so true. But because at the end of the day, that lets me know you have very little to no respect for yourself. If you're willing to keep on dating somebody who's disrespectful to you, it's pretty much what it is. You're you're willing to date somebody that's doing you wrong and cheating on you behind your back. So that lets me know that you have very little to no value. The same goes for if you got to prop your gay friend or your roommate up that you're not sleeping with. That lets me know that you have you have either a abandonment issues, or you can't be alone, or you're the fact that you're willing to lie on your friend like that lets me know that you're willing to lie about me in the future for the most part. So the sad part about that is the fact that you're willing to lie to say you actually have a boyfriend lets me know that you're of low value for the most part, and you're trying to make yourself seem more important or more cool, much cooler than you really are, and that's sad within itself. Then on top of that, if you're like I said, if you're chasing behind a married man, then that lets me know that you have no value whatsoever in your life, and you're pretty much relegated to side chick for the most part for the rest of your life. You're nothing more than a smash and dash, basically, or a hit it and quit it, as they refer to it. Then on top of that, you have your ninja vanish women, or your ninja appear men, basically. That's basically nothing more than a ploy to actually make them sound more valuable than what they really are. And the sad part about that, if you're willing to lie about this imaginary boyfriend, and especially if you have the ninja reappear boyfriend that conveniently value gifts even though it's yourself, you tend to you tend that tends to let me know that you have psychological issues that you need to work on for the most part. And those are things that women literally do to literally make a man jealous so they can want to date them, or make a man jealous so they can, you know, make themselves seem more special than what they really are, when in fact they're not all that special. They're nothing more than there's nothing more than bullshit, basically. There's nothing more than a ploy to make yourself sound more special than they really are. For the most part, you'd be no different than the town bike for the most part, like you said. That's pretty much what it is. Like if you can actually literally say you have a boyfriend but you really don't, or you're pretty much dating a man that's dating the streets, that's in the streets running around hitting off everything. If you're dating a married man, you're basically the town bike for the most part, because you're being used. Not too many people are using you, but you're being used. That's typically what it means. And the sad part about that is no matter how much you cut it, no matter how much you want to pretend like everything's okay, it's really not okay. And that's some deep seated psychological issues that a lot of women actually need to focus on and face for the most part, and work out for themselves. And you figure out why they're lying about this shit for the most part, which really sucks. Why do you got to lie about being in a relationship when you're really not in a relationship? That's something that, that's something that you should build towards or want to build towards, basically, not fake like you actually have when you really don't have one. It's sad, but it's so true that a lot of women do this nowadays. And the sad part about that is you'll hear women say, well, I do it to protect myself, or, so men can leave me alone. The sad part about that is so many women do that. But the sad part about that is you can actually tell her she's lying, because 9 times out of 10, you're probably like 6 degrees of separation from her on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or wherever the hell, basically. And the sad part about that is this is the same chick that told you she's in a relationship. Now she's talking about, I wish I wasn't single on social media, basically, or I need a man, or now taking applications for men. Shit like that for the most part. So they basically telling themselves on social media, but in real life, they try to portray like they got everything and all this stuff and a great man for the most part, when in fact, they're on social media actually sending out applications for men, basically, supposedly. You see what I'm saying? And that's typically how this works. That's how this day and age actually works for the most part. That's pretty much that's pretty much what it is. And the sad part about that is I'm not about non unless you want to like just smash it and dash and leave on them, then I say go ahead. Pretty much nod your head. Pretty much do that. Do what PUA say, basically. If you're just going to smash and dash it any fucking way. But the sad part about that is if you actually want a relationship, that is not the women to go for at all. That is like a low quality woman. Any woman that actually has to prop herself up with fake boyfriends and fake this and ain't shit men ain't worth your time in the least bit. They're not worth your fucking time in the least bit. And women try to do this to make yourself seem more popular, especially in this day and age with the feminism and women empowerment, and you want to be equal to men. The sad part about that is women are paying for this equality to men for the most part. And the sad part about that, half the women who claim they want equality, they really don't want equality. They wanted to be they want to be able to make this money, but they want to be taken care of like their moms and grandmas back in the yesteryears for the most part. So they want a man that actually provides for them. So like it basically goes back to like I was say about the Eastern European women. Her money's her money, your money's our money. That's typically how that worked with this group of women in this day and age. They don't want to spend their money on shit. They want you to spend their money on everything, and they want to be taken care of, but they want to be strong and independent. You see what I'm saying? So they want the guys and look of being strong and independent, but when in fact they want to be all taken care of for the most part. It's sad, but it's true. There's very few women who actually will pitch in the household with their finances for the most part. There's very few women that actually do that. And the sad part about that, the only time they'll actually do that is when they literally have to keep something on or keep something that they like on for the most part. But these are usually the type of women that'll complain that you're not making enough money when in fact they're not putting their money in. That's basically how that works. It's a sad reality of the day. And that's pretty much how that works. And the sad part about that is, even in this day and age, with the whole entire smash and dash thing, if a woman gets feelings for you or catches feelings for you during the whole entire process, there's always the option or the ability to bring you back up on a Me Too charge for the most part. Let it be a year later, let it be 6 months later, let it be 9 months later, let it be 7 years later, let it be 16 years later, let it be 20 years later. They always have the ability to bring you back up on a Me Too charge and try you in a court of public opinion. And that's typically what it is. These are the women that a lot of men have to deal with in this day and age. These are the women that, you know, men have to see and face and stuff like that. And then these women wonder why they're single. But I digress. Y'all have a blessed day. This has been I Have a Boyfriend Girls. podcast. Y'all be blessed. Have a good rest of your day, and just chill. Peace. And what's up, Seeker? And what's up, Adam, Lynn, and whoever else was like lurking in the chats? What's up to all of you? All right, have a good one. Bye.